Thank you for the ways you are showing up in your communities and standing with the most vulnerable among us. Who are we? We are a people made up of indigenous people and the rest of us, hailing from generations who came from other parts of the world. Yet we must name that some came from other parts of the world enslaved on ships against their will. We have a painful history, and we are a beautiful tapestry of people who are indigenous, people once enslaved, now free, and people who immigrated. And we have a broken immigration system in the United States. The first federal restrictive immigration law in the United States was the Page Act of 1875, which targeted Asian, specifically Chinese, contract laborers and women. The Page Act of 1875 authorized inspectors to deny entry to individuals deemed immoral, heavily restricting Chinese women and separating families. We have continued to have unjust, piecemeal legislation, regulations, executive actions, and policies that separate families and give subjective power to oppressors. And millions of people are stuck with no way to move forward. Most immigrants are employed, paying taxes, abiding by laws, and shaping our churches and communities. But they find themselves threatened at their places of employment and abducted at courthouses where they're trying to do the right thing. Immigrants risk their lives to seek asylum and be protected by our Constitution, but then they are denied due process. Church, we need to hold our officials accountable for the harm, terror, and violence they are inflicting on immigrants and their allies who are standing with them. We cannot stand by and watch this belligerence ruin families and communities' lives. When the cries of our neighbors grow louder and the wounds of our communities deepen, the witness of the church is imperative. We are a people shaped by the gospel of Jesus Christ, guided by Scripture, accountable to our social principles, and bound together in a connection that refuses to look away when any of God's children suffer. Church, are you willing to ask officials to use their influence to stop the violence against immigrants and allies? Will you demand Congress overhaul the immigration system with a comprehensive path to liberate all who are imprisoned by the broken paths that are not working and are being exploited? We are joining an ecumenical movement for immigrant justice. On February the 25th, join me and other ecumenical and interfaith leaders and communities in Washington, D.C. for a public witness grounded in worship, moral courage, and solidarity with our neighbors. We cannot ignore the violence. Will you join me in Washington, D.C. on February the 25th? If so, register for a public witness for immigrant justice.